Hi everyone, welcome back to McCall Science Enrichment, and today's experiment is entitled Resonating Glasses. That's right, this is another of our experiments dealing with the physical science of sound. And for today's experiment, you will need these materials. You will need at least one, perhaps two, clean glass, and if you can, try to find a glass with a nice stem like this. Now, being that we're working with glass, we always need to make sure that we're not breaking this, that we're not cutting ourselves, that we have permission. If the rim of your glass has any kind of nicks or chips, be very, very careful because they can cut your fingers, of course. So just make sure that whatever glass you have is as clean as possible, it is free from dirt and any kind of grease or oil as possible, and you'll need at least one. You will also need today our good friend, water. Probably about a cup of water will do. You will need a measuring cup today that will allow you to measure a quarter of a cup. And you will need some food coloring. These are food colors left over from previous experiments, so who knows what's in this box, and we'll figure that out here in just a second. Now, the surface that you're going to work on today should probably be something that is firm like wood, but not super, super hard like granite. Now, you can use granite countertops, you can use anything hard surface, but I tend to be very, very clumsy when it comes to very breakable things like glass. So today, normally I have my purple background here, and I may or may not be using this today, but when I set my glass down, it's going to be on the actual wood top of my kitchen table here that I'm going to use. I want to make sure this is nice and stable and does not move. Now, here are the procedures. Here we go. Okay, to set up today's experiment, you can either use one glass 4 different ways, or you can use 4 glasses like I'm using today and set it up just like this. Now, these glasses are numbered here 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the glasses need to be the same shape, the same size, preferably the same thickness, have the same stems, and the shape has to be consistent among all 4. So luckily I have these 4 glasses to use today for this experiment. Now, glass number 1 will have nothing put in it whatsoever. In glass number 2 right here, I'm going to put 1/4 cup water exactly and a few drops of this purple food coloring. In glass number 3, I'm going to put 2/4 cups of water and a couple drops of this green food coloring. And in glass number 4, I'm going to put 3/4 cups of water and a few drops of this yellow food coloring. So here we go. Let's see if we can work this out here. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Okay, without getting too much water here on my nice wooden table, 1/4 cup of water goes into glass number 2. Glass number 3 will receive 2/4 cups of water, and glass number 4 will receive 3/4 cups of water. I hope I have enough water. We'll see in a bit. And I do. Good. Now, all I'm using the food coloring for is to be able to see the water that's in these glasses, okay? So you're gonna see that glass number 2 has a little water, glass number 3 a lot more, and glass number 4 much, much more water. So I'm just gonna add food coloring. It doesn't matter how many drops you add. It's just enough food coloring to know that the water is there. The food coloring otherwise will have no effect on our experiment. Now I like my yellow, as you know, so I'm going to add the most yellow to the last glass. Now if you want to, you can use the handle of your measuring cup to mix that beautiful food coloring into the water. What would an experiment be without food coloring? And we're done. Okay, so at this point, I am going to put all my other materials away, and we're going to go to our procedures. Here we go. Okay, for each of our 4 glasses today, our procedures all stay the same. Now, you have seen in the past my rather grubby, greasy hands. I use my hands for everything. I wash my hands all day long, but I always get salt and fat and dirt on my hands no matter what I do. I like to snack, what can I say? So for today's experiment, the key thing is you're going to use one finger. In this case, it's going to be my right forefinger. And the pad of my right forefinger is going to be the only thing that touches these glasses. Now, whatever glass I touch, I'm going to take my left hand and very gently, without breaking the glass, hold the base of that glass still so it doesn't move. Now, the reason why we use glasses that have stems is because something is going to happen to that top part of the glass while I'm holding the bottom of that glass with my left hand. Now, the rim of the glass, which is what we drink from, is going to be touched gently with just this finger. And no matter what glass I use today, I need to make sure that this finger is absolutely clean. So if you have to wash your hands between using your glasses, great. Just make sure that that finger and the pad of that finger is free of grease and free of dirt and is all set to go. Now, all we really have in glasses 2, 3, and 4 is water. Food coloring has a little bit of solid in it, but not much. It's basically just water. So I'm going to do the same thing for each of these 4 glasses. For glass number 1, I'm going to take the pad of my right forefinger and dip it in a little bit of that yellow water. Okay? I am then going to hold the base of that glass with my left hand, put the pad of my right forefinger on glass number 1's rim, and I'm going to very carefully work my finger around the edge of that glass. And I can feel whatever liquid on my finger being a little thinner. Glass number 1 has made that sound. Now I'm going to go to glass number 2, holding the base with my left hand, dipping a little water from glass number 4 into my forefinger, not too much, putting it on the rim now of glass number 2. Here we go. Good. Glass number 3. And glass number 4. Now I'm going to go back to glass number 1. Listen to the difference on the noise that glass number 4 made compared to our first glass number 1. Now, what's the science behind what we're seeing? So, I'm basically putting this video together scene by scene, and I just took a look at that last scene, and I noticed that I just asked you to tell me what you just saw, and realized that as students, you couldn't see anything in that last scene because I had my big, old, hairy hand in the way, or my big hairy elbow was in the way, or my big old red shirt was in the way. You couldn't see anything. So just quickly, before we talk about the science of what's going on in this experiment, let me just reenact this so that you can see everything up close. So this is glass number 1. I have wet my newly washed, very clean finger here, and I'm going to very carefully rub the pad of that finger along the rim of the glass. And it gives off a sound. That's glass number 1. Glass number 2. A little more water on my clean finger, and here we go. Good. Glass number 3. And finally, glass number 4, which has the most water in it. Here we go. Now, what science did we just see? Okay, here we go. This is much better. So, since our last scene, I've taken glass number 4. I've added much more water to glass number 4. I've added water almost to the very top of that glass, and I've added a lot more food coloring to this just so that we can see everything. So, what we're hearing from these glasses, well, as I rub my finger along the rim of this glass, is called sound. Now, you can either call it music or you can call it noise, but it is sound. And sound travels as waves, much like the wave that you would see across the surface of water, or you would see as wind blows dust around the playground. Sound travels in waves. And you're going to say, gee gosh, how come we can't see waves? Well, our eyes can't see sound waves, but we can see the materials that sound waves move. Now, sound waves can travel through all 4 states of matter. It can travel through liquids, solids, gases, and plasmas. Yes, even plasma, the stuff that the sun is made of, sound can travel through that as well. Now, the reason why I added water here to this glass is I want you to be able to see the sound waves that are created when I rub my finger along the edge of this glass. Now, the reason why I added a little bit of water to my fingertip was, if I didn't have water on my fingertip, you wouldn't hear any sound. In order for you to hear sound using this glass, I would simply put my finger on here and move it along, and it would just be dry and there would be too much friction. If I add water to my fingertip, I reduce the friction just a little bit, but not completely. There's still a little bit of friction. And this kind of motion is called slip stick motion. That means that my finger is both grabbing hold of the rim of the glass where there is too little water, and it's slipping along the glass where there's too much water. And if I just kind of keep my motion of my finger steady, I can produce a sound. Now, if you notice carefully, as I keep my slip stick motion going, you can see the water moving by the sound waves traveling through it. The same sound waves that are making that music that you hear is also moving the water. You can see it there. Now, the scientific word for this is not vibration, but it's called resonance. Resonance is the vibration caused by a sound wave moving through material. Now this glass is a solid, okay? Some might say that glass is a liquid, but glass, for all intents and purposes for today, is a solid. Now, this glass is a certain shape. It's made from a certain kind of glass. It has a certain length stem, and glasses that are all manufactured to be the same size, shape, and weight are going to, for the most part, resonate with the same sound. If this glass was a different shape or made from a different material or had a different design, it might make a different sound. The sound of the glasses that you use at home for this experiment might be different, and that's okay. But resonance is the sound that natural objects make. Now, you don't have to have a glass to have an object be able to resonate. All objects can resonate with the right particular sound passing through them. It's the natural vibration that is part of an object. Do human beings have a vibration or a resonance point? Yes, they do. Exactly, they do. Now, human beings are not capable of hearing all the sounds that are produced in the world. There are sounds that are produced by earthquakes. I don't know if we can hear them, but it's been said that there are some animals on the planet that can hear those things. So, a couple takeaways from our first lesson this year on sound. Sound travels in waves, much like what you see here in this glass. Sound vibrates through a scientific word called resonance. And we're going to stop with that lesson here today. I hope that you have a chance to try this experiment at home. I hope you get a chance to feel the resonance through your little finger here as you make your glass at home produce a sound. I like to call it music. Some people call it noise, but I think it has a very pleasant sound. Have fun, everybody. Be good. We'll see you next time on McCall Science Enrichment. Take care. Bye-bye.